Hi there, welcome back to the Cordless Vacuum Guide, and in this video, I'll compare the best robot mops I've tested so far. The Roborock S7 Plus, Narwal T10, Roborock S5 Max, and the ILIFE Shinebot series including the W400 and W450. This video aims to educate consumers on their similarities and differences and the best at a specific task. Take note that I'll be focusing on the mopping feature in this video, so I won't be talking much about their vacuuming capabilities. I've spent weeks testing these products, putting them through different experiments to know the strengths and weaknesses of each robot and their best application. These products are a good representation of the different robot mop options available, but it's by no means a complete list. I have not tested the iRobot Brava series, but I will soon, so stand by for those reviews. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get into it. First, let's look at the basic structure of these robot mops, and I'll start with the Roborock S5 Max. It's the most basic of these options as it comes with an electronic water tank and a pad underneath. This robot functions like most robot mops where it drags a wet pad across the surface. But it's the first with a proper electronic water tank, allowing consumers more control over water disbursement. The pad is placed behind a brush roll and it doesn't have the option to shut off the vacuum motor, so it's best utilized for light duty tasks. It won't avoid carpets on its own, and you'll have to use its no-go or no-mop zone feature to avoid them. I wouldn't recommend it on liquid stains, and Roborock doesn't as well since liquid fragments can get inside the motor and damage it. The Roborock S7 was released after the S6 Max V, and its biggest selling point is its Viberize feature with a vibrating mopping pad that raises the pad when it detects carpet. Nonetheless, like the S5 Max, it still drags a wet pad across the surface and is not recommended for wet spills. One add-on feature Roborock put in the S7 app is the option to turn off the vacuum motor. The vibrating mopping pad improves agitation and enables the S7 to clean dry stains better and more efficiently than the S5 Max. However, there are limitations to what it can clean. I'd recommend it only for light to moderate stains, but don't use it for any sugary spots because it will leave a sticky residue. If you opt for the Plus variant, it comes with a self-emptying dock that empties the dustbin for you after every run. And it's the only product on the list with this feature. The Narwal T10 is a different type of robot mop. Instead of a pad, it uses two spinning triangular-shaped discs. These discs provide better agitation than most robot mops that only drag a wet pad. One thing unique with the Narwal T10 is this massive dock that houses the clean and dirty water tanks. It's not the only product with this feature, but it's one of the first with such. The T10 doesn't have a water tank in the robot since it uses discs instead of a traditional pad. The design doesn't allow for direct water access to the pad. Therefore, putting the clean water tank in the dock is the next best option. These pads are primed before starting the cycle, so it's damped, allowing it to clean better. Narwal also sells their proprietary cleaning solution if you need the extra punch for tougher stains. After completing the run, it goes back to the dock and does its rinse cycle, where the pads spin against this ribbed contraption. Dirty water then gets sucked out into the dirty water tank. In theory, these pads should be clean after the rinse cycle, but there are caveats, which I'll reveal later in this video, so stick around. This robot mop also doubles as a robot vacuum if you attach this base plate in place of the disc. But since it doesn't have a motorized brush, it won't be as effective on carpet. Lastly in this list is the ILIFE Shinebot series, namely the W400 and W450 I've tested recently. I wouldn't classify these products as robot mops since both don't use a pad. These models are the only options with a roller brush, sprayer, and a clean and dirty water tank inside the robot. This setup is similar to a product like a Bissell Crosswave, but at a smaller scale. The difference is that the Shinebot series does it autonomously, and it will not clean carpet or rugs. 6 sprayers mist water ahead of the brush to help disintegrate stains and keep the roller clean. The roller acts as an agitator to clean stains, and a squeegee behind it scrapes up what's left. This mixture of components enables it to clean both dry stains and liquid messes better than any other options here. Unfortunately, there's a little more babysitting involved for these robots. You'll have to carry it to the area you want to be mopped and take it back to its charging tray afterward. There's no scheduling feature, auto-resume, none of that autonomy, which is its biggest flaw. I'm not sure why iLife designed it as such, and I'm guessing it's a way to force consumers to empty the dirty water tank after every run. But for some of you, it may be a deciding factor. What's the difference between the W400 and W450? The primary difference is that the W450 has Wi-Fi, while the W400 does not. unlocking more features and enabling it to perform better. I've talked about the similarities and differences between the W400 and W450 in another video. Don't forget to check it out if you want to learn more about them. So which of these mops is the best? The answer depends on what you need and your preference. The ILIFE Shinebot W450 is without question the best option for mopping stains and wet messes, leaving a nearly dry surface without any visible residue. It did well on both tough grape juice stains, prune juice, and grape juice spills, even in large quantities. I've been using this robot ever since I tested it for daily mopping duties at night, so I don't have to mop myself, even spraying Lysol cleaner on the floor before running it. The iLife W400 is another good option, but I wouldn't recommend it, at least for juice spills, because it's stalled on several occasions. But the iLife Shinebot series is the least hands-free option since you'll need to carry it to and from the charging tray. I don't mind doing so, but it's my preference. Yours could be different. The Narwal T10 is the best hands-free option since you don't have to do anything after pushing the clean button on the app. The auto clean feature works in theory, but it doesn't clean the pads thoroughly. You'll need to wash them at least once a week to rid it of any excess dirt. This is why my preference after using these products extensively is the W450 because it's easier to clean the roller than the pads. It does better than the Roborock S7 at cleaning dried stains, but unlike the iLife Shinebot W450, it doesn't have a sprayer, so it relies heavily on the two pads to remove stains. Not having a sprayer limits its effectiveness on sticky juice or food stains. Also, it doesn't have any dirty water tank in the robot, so you can't use it on heavy spills. And while the Narwal T10 can vacuum floors, it won't be as good as other robot vacuums with a motorized brush. Lastly, the Roborock S7 and S5 Max are the worst performing robot mops of the five. The S7 is much better than the S5 Max with its vibrating pad, but there's more upkeep involved. That's why it's not something I'd recommend fully for heavy mopping use. The work involved cleaning it afterwards is tedious. The same goes for the Roborock S5 Max. But if you value vacuuming performance highly and want something that can also do light-duty mopping, then the Roborock S7 and S5 Max are great options. Choosing between them will boil down if you're willing to spend for the self-emptying and vibrating pad feature of the S7 Plus or not. If you've made it this far, I'd like to say thank you for watching. Consider giving this video a thumbs up if it's been helpful to you. Don't forget to check out the individual reviews for these products, which I'll link to below. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified for future comparisons like this. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.